Are getting a little scary. November may be over, but we are here. You may have just saw our last match of Map 5, one to take home, but we are back, standing here and standing proud at Star Esports with Shikigami versus NU, or Northeastern University, a college versus a tier. My goodness, not much you've seen this very often. Oh, no, that's a lie. I'd be lying to myself all day. I'm username underscore Intel. I'll be your play-by-play caster, joined by the wonderful Spooky.
Hi, user. How you doing, buddy? You've been going for a bit. Not much of a break here.
Oh, I definitely have. I've got the will of a Norse god. I just keep going. If I stop talking at this point, my voice is just gone. But this is our first time being together, and this is our one of my first times casting a game with Shikigami, and I'm absolutely excited because Shikigami has been one of those teams that have not only entered into Tier 2, but they've kind of made a name for themselves within it.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Shikigami. In the last Overwatch All-Stars Brawl, I believe they lost their first match in the losers bracket, and it was incredibly close. I believe I casted that one, and to me, it really did not seem like Shikigami deserved to go out as early as they did back in the September edition of the Overwatch All-Star Brawl. So I'm really excited to see what this team has to show. You know, they're probably hungry, they're fired up, and they're ready to really show what they've got.
More than anything, Shikigami, they're going to be sitting here and they're going to be ready to just ratio the enemy team, you know? They're just...
Absolutely. I hope so. I hope they're bringing the fire today. But, you know, user, it's Overwatch. Anything can happen, and you can never discount either team. Yeah, you can predict all you want. You can say who may be the favorite. But as soon as we get into the game, you actually see what is happening on this day itself. We're going to be starting with the Lijiang Tower. I love Lijiang, user. I'm very excited to start out here.
Yeah, I definitely would say I'm absolutely excited. We just ended the last game off of Lijiang Tower, so to start right back on it, that's a little bit of poetic justice for Shikigami to kind of avenge their old friends. And you may recognize some players here, but I'm really excited to see the university walk out. I love college teams a lot more than I do love our kind of tier 2 teams, because if you're working with a college team, that means they sit each other, they know each other IRL, they're dabbing themselves up and then going to get a pizza, then scrimming. So they're going to be having a lot more synergy, but sometimes synergy doesn't beat just raw talent, you know?
It's true. It's true. And collegiate Overwatch may have been a bit of a meme for a few years, but nowadays it's really taking off. A lot of incredibly good players going to collegiate and making their way to Owl from there. So collegiate Overwatch has just been getting more and more stacked, and really does compare to the current, tier 3, tier 2 competitions. So let's see if that will continue as we have a university team up against, maybe the old hands in Shikigami. So it's definitely going to be interesting. I really don't know where this one's going to go. I'm just super excited to see the teams. We are having a couple little technical difficulties, getting a few things sorted out, but we'll get into game as soon as possible. And man, I'm buzzing. I want to go.
I know, I'm always so excited. Overwatch is such a fast-paced game. I never like sitting around. I always get mad when the teams are like, "Can we get a 5-minute break?" I'm like, "Come on, you guys are popping off. You're going insane." And right now, it's almost like they're buzzing with excitement. But you've been within the Overwatch scene for a while with the news and all of that. So, Lijiang Tower, we can talk about it a bit more before we get into the map. Give me your idea. What are your feelings on Lijiang Tower? Personally, for me, I think it's a bit of an overrated map. I don't always love it. I don't always hate it.
Man, I think one of the best things about control maps user is that each point is so different that it's really hard to really hate any control point or control map because you have so many different points. Some of them may be a little worse than others, but you've got gardens, you've got control center, you have so many different parts of Lijiang that you can play all these different comps. No team's really forced into meta, like you might feel that you have to play maybe a double shield or a rush comp on King's Row. That doesn't really happen on Lijiang, sure, for control center, but if you lose control center, you just run it back and take the other two maps with maybe a dive comp, maybe a Pharah comp. And I think that is one of the big things about control. And like you said, Overwatch is a fast-paced game. Control center, or not control, center. Control is probably the fastest game type in Overwatch as well. They just really, they go together. It's like peanut butter and jelly, dude. Control and Overwatch. Everyone loves to watch a little bit of Control.
Control is just one of those game modes where a team that can have better coordination or just a bit more of a clutch factor can win it out, which is kind of the opposite of why people play 2CP, And
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and which is interesting too, because depending on whoever gets the first win, that will go on into who gets the first map ban, who gets first A and B kind of picks, and so you get a different opportunities to kind of work things together. And I think that's going to be a lot of moments for both of these teams to feel a bit more excited, especially because I definitely agree with the sentiment that you put that Lijiang Tower is not a map to where you can just play a specific meta. I think that you can run about basically anything on any map except for like one of them where all you have to do is just run pure rush and in the server rooms. I forget what exactly it's called, but it can be incredibly difficult to try to move forward against it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Control Center may be that only point where you're really forced into a specific meta. Usually some kind of Reinhardt rush, but again, you can kind of play with that as well. We see Symmetra comps on Control Center. We see Junkrats. We see Rein Sigma. We see all kinds of different things. Maybe they're all based around that Rein Lucio rush, but depending on what the team wants to run, you could even see a Torb if you really want to. So even in that point that really forces you into a specific style, you see a little bit of variation. And again, if you're just crap at rush, if you're a bad rush team, you got two more points to break out the Winston, break out the balls, and get a little dive going.
I would definitely respect it. I think Torb should always be played. Torb is by far the best character because he is 4'9". He Molten Core is the best ability in the game. Don't at me. Headshots, hammer kills, very memey. Those are my 5 reasons, and you know, I go to a mental facility, so there's more than just that left inside the house. Either way,
Absolutely, it makes sense.
yeah, thank you. I still think like I like the monkey. I like those different types of just aggression that you can play, especially those comps that take a lot of ability to work together to work off. I think like wrecking ball compositions are by far one of my favorite because I think dive when it comes to Overwatch is the best meta in the game. All right, that's up to debate. Some people would say goats, and I think that you're mentally challenged, not mentally challenged, mentally insane. If you think that playing goats is by far the best meta, I think dive works great, especially on Lijiang Tower when you're in like night market or you're in the big open streets and you're having to worry about a sim TP or you're in gardens and now they're trying to go after you. You're just able to move around and you know I just really like monkey noises. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I Spooky, before I got ready to cast, you know what I was watching?
I'd love to find out.
I was watching a video about monkeys reacting to magic tricks. And they are such simple creatures. I'm absolutely in love with the primate species. And, you know, I think that's just a little bit of self-love coming out of me as we're getting the R and we're kind of getting that moment where these teams can finally say, I'm ready. And I'm wondering who's going to be able to bring it out. Last game, we did say, like, Regen was going to be able to bring it, but that's because they were the favorite team. We knew who they are. And while we know Shikigami and not everyone knows about Northeast University, I'm a little too scared to kind of downplay them.
Yeah, it is really hard when you haven't seen a team before. You kind of have to fall back on. You know, Shikigami's been around. They have proven themselves in some of these big leagues, but that doesn't say anything if you don't know anything about the other team, right? Like, this could be NU's place to really, really make a statement and come out. I do want to remind everybody that I believe we are just about to get into the game. You'll notice we ran out of stuff to talk about 5 minutes ago, so I'm certainly very excited to actually see some Overwatch. But I do want to remind everyone that we do have an MVP poll. So as you watch the game, see who catches your eye, and if you think they deserve to be the most valuable player, go down, scroll on down below to the About tab where you will see our MVP poll, and you can vote for any player in the game. It doesn't matter which team wins or loses, the player with the most votes will become our MVP, and they'll get to come to the booth, and me and User will ask them a couple of questions. And now, User, we are entering Lijiang Tower.
Oh, I'm very excited. Definitely for me. Players I'm already going to just shout out because I'm going to be paying attention to is Neats from NU and Wicken from Shikigami. Why? I flipped a coin. We're just going to see if these players pop off. And if I get one right, I'm going to buy dividing another poster. 2 posters in one day, you know? Maybe he gets something a little nice. But still, Spooky, you're right. We are here in the gardens. And my goodness, look at that interesting composition coming out of NU. Wow, that Shadow Dive rocks out on Shikigami. How are you feeling about these?
Absolutely. We haven't, it's Control. They haven't come out yet, but these are pretty standard compositions. I'd have to be worried if they run out with this. If I'm Scoop and Timid, you know that Shikigami are going to be coming straight at that very fragile backline, especially Scoop. Timid's only got 1 whip shot. He can't keep everyone away. This 6-man kind of dive style from Shikigami, it's going to be hard to beat with the ball's end.
Well, I definitely have to agree. Look at that. Shadow Dive already moving forward onto the bridge, though the Wrecking Ball moving in, and they've managed to not only hack, but take out the Tracer on the side of Shikigami. The Death Gods are dying themselves, not having to play inside this tiny house. You do not have permission to enter in, yet the Wrecking Ball still going to be diving, looking to pump in that damage, still taking a lot of themselves. They are going to be losing Timid, so now control of the point is going to start struggling out, as Zenyatta no longer has anyone to peel in. SCL was gonna be falling off the map. Sure, Stone is gone, but with this monkey still being alive, being able to place down that bubble, Shikigami don't have anything to worry about as they capture the point.
And I don't know if that's nerves coming out from NU, but Glee or SCL just kind of rolls off the map there. I think he might have thought he had his pile driver ready to save him, but that's definitely rough. I thought they might have been able to run away with that one, get some positioning because they got that early first pick, but losing the ball makes this composition a lot harder, and now they have to find openings to actually get everyone in place. This comp takes a lot of coordination, User.
Definitely have to agree with Hirsch being hacked. That's gonna hurt them, especially with SBT eating that pulse bomb, stopping their push. This point may be flipped out, but it doesn't even matter as they're just immediately gonna walk onto it, kill out your Sombra. Your monkey's gone, but the Wrecking Ball was traded. They're not even gonna have to fret. Sure, they want to be able to kind of contest this as much as possible. Neat is trying to make this as clean as possible, but it's more neat that you're going back to your spawn room.
Yeah, and you get a little bit of percentage, so it's not completely wasted. Now, user, it looks like it's going to be a tale of two EMPs, as both Stone and QG Hop have theirs online. If either team gets to take this fight without using their MVP, or their EMP rather, vote for your MVP in the below, huh? But we'll see exactly. That would be so huge for them. And Stone's down!
A beautiful EMP! Wicked does manage to save the sound barrier for a second later, but the Transcendence is going to be counteracting it. They're at a major disadvantage, even using that promo rage trying to make a difference. That bomb is going to be able to break all of the mines, causing them to be null voided as Wicked is hacked, taken out, counter EMP now hitting Scoop, taken out, and it seems the Sombra is going to be able to kind of even things. Still, Shikigami having issues with that sustain. The only person on the point is going to be their diva, but they don't even seem to notice it until the Wrecking Ball goes behind the point, catches out SBT, and they melt them down. But even then, Waken comes onto the point, casting a spell, gets hacked, then the monkey jumps in, Ooga Booga-ing, has to use that rally just to get some sustain, wants to put pressure onto the Tracer, but they're able to freely escape, though the monkey cat made able to survive for a little bit longer until eventually going down. They stagger themselves to the point and get this to 96. Pretty worth it if you do ask.
They also popped the rally. Timid was worried. He thought they might end up losing, and now Sklee is down as well. That was great from Shikigami. They didn't just stall out the point. They forced a rally, and they got the pick. This is a great opportunity for them to take the point back and take the map.
Shikigami looking aggressive right now as they just choose to move forward, going after that support line. Wicken gets picked out by Scoop, but luckily Timid is going to be the sacrifice. However, the big issue comes from the fact that Neat and S is able to start moving down, taking out your own backline, placing the mine, stopping from moving forward. And from that one pick, they made one error, and that was underestimating the stubbornness of Scoop.
Yeah, that was scary for NU. They definitely could have lost the round right there, but it is Scoop who saves them. And now they're in a pretty good position. They have the Transcendence online. It's going to be Scoop versus Stone with that EMP. If Stone is able to get that down, on the Scoop before the Transcendence comes out, that could spell the victory for Shikigami. The monkeys primaling in a small room, Catmay doing a lot, and it forces the Transcendence.
Ooh, they lose out their Wrecking Ball, and the Primal Rage takes Timid out. Though this EMP finds Stone, that's the most important person. They get hit with the Pulse Bomb. There's no EMP for them, but they're basically going to ignore the Diva Bomb that went out. Poor Abyss, I'll salute you later as this Sombra's going to be the one on the point. They still have the targets to be able to immediately come back. However, Shikigami not looking to give this up. Drops that Pulse Bomb. The after effects are going to be able to hit that Wrecking Ball, but they're freely going to leave. Throwing that bomb just to be able to remech causes them to have to just leave. They're going to be able to contest for a little longer, and the EMP stops the sound barrier midway. Wait, no, wrong sound barrier. I'm definitely going crazy as we're seeing the rest of Shikigami being able to slowly melt them down, causing them to not be able to use their mobility to escape and take them out. Sure, Stone is going to be picked, but a boulder coming back only cracked. It's just different, as I'd like to say, because we're going to be seeing Shikigami win off the first point of Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, they managed to take it away. It was pretty close though, user. And at the risk of starting to analyze these teams way too early, the collegiate team, NU, seem a little antsy. They're using ults a little early. They're using them in positions that I think are winnable otherwise. From my understanding, I believe this is the team's first time in the Overwatch All-Star Brawl, and they might be feeling the pressure a little bit. Meanwhile, Shikigami, being one of those old hands, they're happy to just wait for when they need to use their ultimates, when they feel that it's going to turn the fight. But now we're going to Control Center, and we are going to see these Reinhardt-based comps clashing against each other. The Sim teleports coming out, and both teams keeping the Symmetra on the field. It's Doom versus Junk in the Flex DPS.
Oh my goodness, the Doomfist goes out and helps to take out that Reiner. The Immortality basically did nothing. It was a plastic shield against Stone's mighty fist. Now they have to just back up. It seems that Northeast are giving a little bit more respect. Neat is wanting to try to put a bit more poke in, but there's not much that they can truly do, especially with the fact that now as they move out, Stone is hiding like a little sneaky baby, now jumping in, looking to take someone out, has to immediately disengage, and they're kind of rotating around, playing a little ring around the rosy, seeing who makes that first mistake, but still Shikigami's own Symmetra is building up this beam's gonna be able to move forward, though they move into that servers, the windows pop, they're gonna rotate around, try to use as much of it as possible, and then Catman does an interesting charge and doesn't die! Just managing to be able to push in with the rest of the team, give Stone that room. Sure, SBT does go a little bit too far, but like I said, a Stone who gets hit is only going to become cracked.
Yeah, Stone just absolutely pops off, kills two birds, if you will, but Cadmaid really made all that space for him by making that giant charge. So Stone takes the attention off and lets him get those picks. The team is teleporting back in, but that's a ring around the rosy shatter. That's a 180.
That's a bit of an ego play right there as both of these walls kind of split things up, and it just seems that Northeast, they're just going to move forward. Without their Reinhardt, there's nobody protecting them, and I don't think a Symmetra can truly carry this all alone at only 50%, and with this stall, Wicked and Stone want to do as much as they can, but still, being able to find out that Junkrat is only so much as the capture gets reset, and now this is where we see Shikigami having to play on the back foot.
Yeah, Shikigami will be coming back fast with that teleporter, and NU's pushing up, but they're worried, you know, they're scared that the Sim will teleport the team around them, so they back off to the point. Sklee goes in with the charge, but the sound barrier's there.
And that Shatter managing to hit 3. Immortality's not enough as we see the 3K come up with one swing. What's funnier than a Torb hammer kill? A Ryan hammer kill.
And it's much more common as well. You'll see that one pop up a little bit more often. So Shikigami gets stalled out by that Shatter, but that was a lot of ultimates used by NU. The Gravitic Flux invested as well. They don't have too much. It's just this wall, and they used aggressively.
They're even placing this TP a little farther just to be able to go back onto the point if they feel pressured out. Loving the fact that Shikigami are LOSing. They're giving their respects. They're not risking anything, though walking into that small microwave means that they are going to take a slight bit of damage. However, they have SBT's bomb as a setup and Abyss's own window. Using that Fire Strike, which gets eaten, allows Catmaid to move forward, start trying to take control of the point, but they're a little angry. That TP does go down and manages to take out the Reinhardt. The Riptide is going out, managing to really only trade with the Symmetra. That's not enough. You've lost your front line, and now the rest of your team are kind of split in action. With Abyss still up, they're getting consistent healing, meaning that they don't have to worry too much about the poke. They just want to put pressure onto Hirsch, and we even see Stone diving into the backline. They managed to find out the support, and now the rest of the team who are slowly coming back are going to be able to regret that. Sure, see, SCL has built up that Shatter, but you go back to your spawn room.
It's a weird fight from NU, you know, Catmaid gets the charge on the Sklee, so he dies to the Diva Bomb, but then the rest of NU start moving in before their main tank is with them, and Shikigami just gets to clean up the picks. The Shatter comes down, and that's a lot of people on the ground.
Yep. Even a counter Shatter comes in, combined with the Gravitic Flux, it's managing to help them out. Though the Immortality saves them, they even use the window just to play on the aggressive when the point flips. That Riptide's looking out, finds the Reinhardt, but somehow Stone is able to just slam down without a care in the world and kill 2. How do you let this man go free? Just being able to shut you down. We do see the Reinhardt slowly come back onto the point, but I don't know how much Overwatch you've played to think that a Reinhardt isn't just going to be immediately bullied and pushed off the point while the rest of the team tries to do as much as they can to stall. Shikigami, well, your name is written in the book as they close it out, winning on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, Shikigami, they just look a little bit more coordinated, a little bit more comfortable in one of these high-pressure situations. They're just so used to it. And that really seems like the difference between these two teams. I think NU are a little nervous. Quite frankly, I think they're very scared to lose, and they're making a couple mistakes they might not make otherwise if they had a little bit more experience. Just at the end there, you know, they teleport through to get on point because they know they have to get there, but they end up splitting their team. 4 of them teleport onto point, and I believe it leaves their main tank and another member just left alone in the middle of Shikigami. So Shikigami cleans up those kills. They lose the point, but they don't care because they just win the 4v6 afterward. So maybe a little less coordination, especially, in those heated moments. But there have been some bright spots too, especially Sklee on that main tank he's been putting down some shatters. He's been putting down some big old hammers. This team, if they get the jitters out on Lijiang Tower, they might be scary. They might be here to come back a little bit in this next map, user.
Definitely had to agree. I feel first map sometimes isn't really a momentum starter. It's more both of these teams starting to feel each other out, and I definitely would agree. Stone was just able to just move in without a care in the world, and Cat made more, I think we both know, made a lot of questionable Rhine charges, and lives, which is absolutely phenomenal. Claps to you. I don't know if you could hear it, but those were some claps. And those are very good opportunities to take advantage of aggression, but I want to be seeing NU start abusing it. They had moments, and Hirsch definitely was staying alive more often than not, so they were getting a lot more value on the tank, and same with Timid and Scoop. But that's where the issue comes in, is that the rest of the team isn't going to be able to follow up on it. So now we just get a chance where both teams take a deep breath. We're going to get a map ban on Hanamura, meaning that you don't have to play that terrible 2CP map. I'm looking at some of you people who like it for some reason. And Shikigami, well, at least they feel confident in knowing that even if they go onto a 2CP, they've removed one that's a bit less favorable.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we'll see exactly what NU want to pick. They get to maybe push this to more of a favorable choosing for them. Now that they've felt out Shikigami a little bit. And they've seen a lot of aggression coming out from this team, so maybe that will decide exactly where they want to go and what kind of composition they want to play. So it does look like we are going to go to Havana, which suggests to me maybe some kind of double shield could be coming out from NU. It's one of the comps we haven't seen from them yet, since they lean towards the Ball Zen on the first point of Lijiang, then you have to play the rush on Control Center. But unfortunately, Havana's not in the map pool. I've been bamboozled, user. I'm
sitting here wondering. I'm like Havana isn't in our map pool. Why are we going to that?
Yeah, so it looks like NU, they're back to the drawing board again. Quickly looking up the map pool, as I probably should do as well. And we are ending up going to not Numbani.
Don't you even try it. Don't you try. Listen, you're being ratioed very bad right now. Every time you're coming out, there's just like a nope just hitting you. That hurts, alright? This is why you gotta pay attention to your source, and it's definitely a funny meme. I wish chat could see it. Refuse just sitting there, just like, I worked so hard on this map pulling bands, and you're gonna tell me you're gonna pick one out of it? Are you kidding me?
Teams didn't read it, casters didn't read it. Oh, what can you do?
Well, not plural.
This caster didn't read it. Well, but I do want to take this time, user, as we wait for NU to pick a acceptable map, a legitimate one, to remind you that we do have an MVP poll going on. If any of these members of either team have caught your eye, you can scroll down to that About tab, click on the MVP poll, and put in a vote for them. As always, no matter which team wins or loses, we will speak to the player with the most votes at the end of the match. So if you just want to hear, if you think someone's done a good job, if you see Stone getting those huge 4Ks, Sklee with the big hammers, or if you just want to, you want to hear us talk to someone, go down and put your vote in for your MVP.
Personally,
I'm gonna let you say the map they picked. In case it's a bad one.
You know what? 3 in a row, that means you're out. And don't worry, alright? Rialto is in our map pool, and it looks like it's going to be the map that is going to be played on, which I definitely love. I love Rialto, and I love Catmaid, too. Definitely my pick for MVP. Wink. Favoritism. I don't know why it's favoritism. I just think Catmaid.
It's just your favorite.
Yeah, Catmaid's been playing good. So, Rialto is in our map pool. We're definitely going to it. And Rialto, is a very uncomfortable map for me. The amount of times I've been full held on it, it's so difficult at times to play through when there is a team that you're going up against and you can debatably say feels a lot better than you.
Yeah, and the last few meters of every single point on Rialto are hard to break. You really need to try and snowball that from the previous fights on the point, because if, point A, point B, point C, if a team gets to set up there, it can be very, very difficult to actually push in. And I'm still curious. I think NU might still be wanting to run that double shield, like I was talking on Havana. It's just as good on Rialto. Any kind of Orisa composition can benefit from this map because the sightlines are very, very long. So she can really put down that consistent damage. And if you want to play kind of that poke spam comp, you have a lot of opportunities to get picks. So I'm still leaning towards NU maybe being more comfortable on this kind of double shield poke comp. But we'll see. We haven't seen it out of them yet. They've been playing the dive, they've been playing the rush. So maybe this is where they get to turn it around and show what they're really comfortable on.
This is the time for the university to truly stand up and stand tall. On this map of Rialto, it is very hard to just play something like Brawl. I don't know where I was going. I don't know where I was going with that. It started out as something, and then I kind of forgot, and then I felt too embarrassed to kind of stop it midway through. So don't even sweat your brow.
Don't worry. Next time, just stop. Now we're gonna see what these teams are gonna roll out on, and already it does look like we're gonna have NU coming out with the double shield composition with the Torb and the Ashe as well.
This is something a little bit new and interesting just to be able to see. When I say new, I mean it's just the fact that more often than not, I don't see teams pick that Torbjorn. Sometimes they do, but more often than not, they want to go with that Echo because Echo is often kind of busted, and I'm liking to see the Wrecking Ball composition. I think it's actually a really good and direct counter against it.
Yeah, this is really a bunker composition. They want to set up, they want to play all together as kind of a six-man stack. They're not going to have that Echo going around on the flanks. Let's see exactly how Shikigami want to break this one. They're playing the Ball Zen composition, and already they've seen what's coming out from NU, and it looks like they want to make a few swaps. But they're sticking with the Ball Zen. Catmaid might be trying to knock these guys off of the high ground and find a good opportunity to just tear them apart.
Oh, but it hurts when you lose your Ashe. I mean, playing this Wrecking Ball, you're 100% wanting to move them off, but the break scouts you out. You do manage to get a nice slam in, but half your health is gone, and then Hirsch says no, snaps his finger, shuts you down. Now you're going to be having more issues trying to move out, as they are using this double shield to the finest. They have basically used it like a refined metal, as they're being able to not only use the holds to stop this payload from being moving, find anyone out of position, but they're slowing down the rest of this really fast composition to move out. Already Catmate struggling to go onto that high ground. They do manage to get a nice dynamite out, but the Ashe gets immediately punished for even poking, though they do manage to boot Horsch off the map. Eventually, same with Scoop. This is where they start to collapse, no longer being able to work as a team, as there is no team to work with. The Wrecking Ball doing an amazing job of booping them around, and they're going to be able to push this payload.
And that's going to be the name of the game, user. If NU stick on this bunker kind of composition, as soon as one member falls, I'm pretty certain the rest of them will. Now, NU have to get in here close to actually contest the objective, but Shikigami are putting a lot of pressure on. It's just the Sigma. They're using the Molten Core, but I don't know if it'll be enough to get on point.
Yep, look at that. They are just jumping off. SBT may be able to find out Timid, but they are too scared to consistently try to fight this in their own home space. They even want to use that Valk just to be able to sustain, but they've lost both of their tanks. I don't understand how you're going to be able to push in. You don't even have a chance to be able to go for that really aggressive res without being punished. Though this Bob, though, kind of randomly thrown out by Whoa. We are going to get a pause for a quick second, so at least this gives a second. That was a questionable Bob, I'm definitely not going to lie. Maybe a bit of lag or something, and that's going to hurt them in the long run.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's pretty clear that NU won that fight. It was scary for a minute, but getting that pick onto SBT on the Sigma really opened it up for them. I was nervous for them, and I think Shikigami weren't really expecting to lose that fight either, considering they still have 4 ultimates in the bank that they did not part with. I think they thought that their superior positioning would have given them that one, but now you're back to the drawing board. It's a long walk to point A, and like I was saying, those last few meters on any point can be pretty easily held. So this bunker composition from NU well, that's not a great start. Losing your Orisa like that is not fantastic. And now this is an opportunity for Shikigami to push in.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We are going to be seeing a Hirsch try to trade it out, but the Mind's causing a lot of issues for them to try to move forward. It seems that pause has led them to be abused. Now the Transcendence going up against that rally. The Brig's going to be able to self-sustain for a good while until that Gravitic Flux pops out, manages to find out 2, drops down to the ground, going with that half health. But the Boobs are there combining and leads them out. Now they're caught, but they're still contesting. That's what matters. With this Immortality and Bongo, they're being able to kind of make up for the fact that they've lost Scoop. Though, they find out the Ash, which is looking pretty nice. Same with Cat Maid. Look at that. Just the Wrecking Ball composition is not going to be able to push forward. And they have to just retreat, come up with another plan. What do they do?
Yeah, I mean, they have to figure something out. NU will always win those long, sustained fights in that close quarters. Shikigami have to get a pick quickly, and though they got on the Orisa, they weren't able to follow it up quickly enough. But that's a pick on the Hirsch. That's a lot of damage down. Now let's see if Shikigami can capitalize on the early first pick.
Oh, but how do you lose that fight against the turret? I feel that's a little bit disappointing, especially with Cat Maid now getting caught out. You've used that res, and now you've traded which person you're wanting to use. The Bob gets thrown out just to go very far. I'm guessing it's just a rude answer towards that Ash flanking you. Same with Needs having this Moen Core. They have a lot of room just to feel fine. They're staying on top of this payload without a care in the world, slamming down, trying to do as much as they can. Sure, you can use those mines as much as you want, but the Molten Core stopping you as the Bob walks into it. They have the Immortality, they're basically fine, and they have so much health due to the rally that Needs is basically playing Overwatch 2. I definitely have to agree. They had no room to push in, they had nothing in their bank, and they just couldn't bring it out, as we see Shikigami not going to be able to even capture this first point.
And this is something you'll see in Tier 4, Tier 3, Tier 2, Tier 1, any kind of Overwatch, is the Ball Zen composition stalling out. Ball Zen is it's very crucial that they get a snowball kind of fight. They get that first pick, and that opens them up to move on to the second one, and then so on. But it's very, very focused on heavy coordination between your Ball, your Tracer, and your Zenyatta to be able to do that single target damage and take down one person very, very quickly. This bunker style from NU makes that much harder to do. Everyone's stuck together. Everyone is covering each other. It's much harder to find those isolated targets. And we saw again and again, Scully and Hirsch went down because they were out of position. They had pushed very far up. But the rest of the team were able to coalesce, come together, and then that gave enough time for that tank to come back. And Shikigami just couldn't figure out how to break through the bunker. Now, at the end of point A, Rialto's looking pretty good for NU. It is their map pick, and they just have to put just a little bit before that last point. We need a great hold coming out from Shikigami, and they're sticking with the Ball Zen. This is not a composition that fights on point very well. It's going to be tough. They're going to have to get the picks. They're going to have to get the kills, or, NU are just going to roll this through to victory.
I won't lie, I'm a little worried seeing this because, what are you going to boop off the high ground when they're already booping themselves off the high ground? The Wrecking Ball on the side. Shikigami is just able to kind of take out SCL, and now they're going to struggle to move forward. It's basically seeing who can play the Wrecking Ball better. Though this trade being on stone, they're able to res it out, bringing this back into their favor. They're going to have a lot of issues on the side of NU trying to just move through. Though they get a nice slam, wanting to try and take out Abyss, it seems that Stone's really the only person who's going to be traded out in every single attempt and a push. Though Hirsch, not feeling too scared, is moving that payload, feeling fine in the world. Without their own Wrecking Ball looking for those first engagements, they don't really have much when it comes to these attacks.
Yeah, NU opting into the mirror might be good for Shikigami because they won't have that much point presence either. The Mercy coming out from Shikigami is very strong for the resurrects, but you're not going to resurrect that one. Cadmade over the side by Timid, and this is an opportunity for NU to push forward.
No, you don't let Timid walk on you. Kill the Brig. No, Timid gets 3, and Timid's moving forward, gets the boop kill, gets 4. How are you letting Timid move forward? Look at this, not even scared to just show that talent. While Waken has to use that Valkyrie just to escape, Stone is eventually going to be picked off and is now entered into the stagger phase. As we're
and this is final fight.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing them make immediate switches. They need to make some type of difference and touch that point against this Pulse Bomb, Mines, Dragons. It's not looking good for the side of Shikigami, already walking out. Catmate's going to be picked, and they don't even get an opportunity to touch. We're going to be seeing the NU side bring it back off of control and tie the series 1-1.
Yeah, and NU, they just had such a good hold. We're going to see him Timid with the play of the game. Not surprising, considering how Timid really opened this up for his team. Just was able to walk forward, get that Brig into position, and then that's really where some of that advantage comes over that Mercy. You know, the Mercy's there to res those first picks. And first picks are really, really crucial in the mirror match, the Ball Zen. But Cadmate had gone over the side of the map on the far side, away from his team. There's no res for that one, and then Mercy just gets stuck, kind of being a heal bot, trying to defend the team. Like, damage boost isn't going to help you that much in that 6v5 scenario. And, you know, the Brig's just walking forward, Zen's got Discord Orb, the Tracer's everywhere. It just falls apart, and, you know, Shikigami barely get a touch at the end, and then NU just roll forward with superior ultimates. So, NU, after a rocky start, look pretty good on their map pick.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit more worried. I kind of agreed with you in the sentiment that they looked a little more scared, but it seemed that they found their own bread and butter. I guess they just wanted to feel out their opponents and see what they had in store, and it seemed what they had in store was a good, quick victory. They're gonna be switching this momentum up and even getting a map pick ban of their own. And for you children who like seeing the same thing run over and over again, you can cry now because you're not going to be seeing King's Row. It's absolutely gone. It's banned. It's not allowed. How do you feel about King's Row?
Oh, I love King's Row. I am a Reinhardt main. It's just the map for me. But this kind of helps my theory that NU aren't that comfortable on rush compositions. You know, if you're banning out King's Row, you definitely don't want to play Reinhardt. There's not a chance. So we're going to see what Shikigami want to pick into this. And it looks like they're going to take us to Blizzard World. So it might be more of that Ball Zen composition, but there are definitely a lot of points you can run that double shield. So maybe this is a little bit more in both teams' wheelhouses. You know, Shikigami wanting to play the Ball Zen, and you looking comfortable on the double shield, that real bunker comp, as well as the more ball-based dive. I'm curious to see what we'll see come out on Blizzard World.
I definitely have to agree. I also tried to put up a thumbs up picture behind me, but it didn't work properly, so it was like behind my chair. So yeah, thank you, Squeaky.
I got
definitely rely on that. Blizzard World though is, I'd have to say, one of those more scary hybrid maps. I think King's Row you have some comfortability on. When you play something like Eichenwald, you have some comfortability on it. Same with like Hollywood. I think those are maps that we can definitely feel and say like any team can truly go even with little to no experience. But Blizzard World, if you don't scrim it, you don't really know how to play it. And I don't really know the words to kind of define what makes Blizzard World such a different map compared to how the other hybrids feel. Do you?
I think part of it might just be how far that first point is from the spawn. Especially if you're playing on attack, you know, for example, Hollywood, you have a lot of cover to move forward before you actually have to make your attack on the capture point, on the objective. Blizzard World, it's all open, you know? It's, if you want to play some kind of Orisa comp, you can just pump in damage the entire time. If you want to play dive, there's a lot of places you can come down. You know, if you're playing that ball, you can swing up and pretty much pile drive any part of the map and you'll hit someone. So it's definitely just how far it takes to get to that first objective, I think is really a part of what makes Blizzard World really kind of annoying to play, especially on the offense. It does take a pretty coordinated dive. It almost feels like you're playing 2 CP sometimes with how the defenses are set up for that first point on Blizzard World and how long the attack takes.
No, I can't say that you're wrong or that I necessarily disagree. I think you made some very good points. And now moving in, I think that's truly for the team to try and decide about what's going on and who's going to be able to take out the victory. These long side angles and especially that annoying second point defender spawn advantage can be very, 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 and extra capital very annoying, at least to my own opinion. So when
remember when point B was like farther away?
Point B was farther?
Yeah, you know, they changed it. It used to be in that little courtyard. Like, that's the beginning of point C.
No way.
Yeah, they changed it because it was so bad.
Yeah, I'm never gonna trust Blizzard when it comes to doing anything. Alright? I still don't. Either way, look at this. Double shield on to defense. Not too surprised. They looked very strong on this. A little more worried to see the Wrecking Ball composition just because they had a lot of issues trying to break through it.
Yeah, and again, it is this very strong bunker composition. You know, the Echo gives you a lot of proactive opportunities, but it weakens the actual bunker of the double shield, while the Torb really does support it. It's a little bit of a passive composition. You really do have to wait for the team to come to you, and we are seeing the ball Zen yet again. Let's see if they stick on this, because I think they started this composition then left it last time. But I do like Stone on the Sombra. You know, when you're all stuck together like this, one EMP will win you the fight. So the problem is building up to it. And yeah, they're going to swap away.
You were so happy. I'm sorry, Spooky.
Yeah, but I like the Hanzo. The Hanzo breaks the shields well. You've got that one pick potential. The Hanzo could do a lot to break this composition.
I'm really hoping so. They just lost their Wrecking Ball when they tried to dive into a Brigida, which is not very good. SPT having to use that shield just to be able to play a lot more passively. On the bright side, though, this is where the old London Spitfire strategy walks in, where they can freely start contesting this point and forcing the enemy team to either drop from the high ground and move to resources and then get set up for a beautiful dive from Catmaid. They find out Scoop. This is now the opportunity they've been looking for, as Stone is able to take out the Orisa and they slowly start pushing in, collapsing down. It's no longer Halloween, and yet there is horror being shown on the screen as Stone's able to get that 3K push forward, and Hirsch, now being the last one alive, is only dying a martyr.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic from Shikigami. They break the bunker just by forcing them to move. And then the dive comes in and it's clean onto Scoop. Pretty much the one member you can't lose, because once that healing's gone, so is the rest of the team. It's a pretty good time bank for Shikigami as they push forward. Now, NU have to find a new place to bunker up. The dragon comes through, but nobody gets picked from it. NU still struggling to figure out where their positioning is going to be.
I think they're more angry about the Wrecking Ball that's booping them. They wanted to just move as a singular team so they didn't have to worry. But still, look at this. Catmaid comes out, places down the mines, and so in their irritation, they throw out the Molten Core, which forces the Transcendence. Now with this Gravitic Flux getting rocked, they're going to be feeling a little bit more frustrated as they have no condition to engage besides from Catmaid. And Scoop is able to find out Stone, meaning this is now turned to a 5v6, though this Orisa, dangerously low, gets that immortality, still being booped out. Pulse bomb there, still being able to be fine. Eventually they managed to take them down, but it took a lot of resources that now the opposing side, you see, is going to be trading out, as Hirsch is able to use Gravitic Flux, focus down on SBT. The rest of the Wrecking Ball comp now just have to split up, come back, and think about what they need to do.
Yeah, again, maybe a few more ultimates than you need from NU, but they do win the fight, so it is alright. They are a little bit scattered, though. They're not playing together like they were previously, and it's coming back to bite them as Neats falls, and that's the snowball user. That's exactly what I was talking about. As soon as one falls, the rest follow pretty quickly, as NU are just scattering.
Yeah, look at that. Stone just able to start moving forward, making that Hanzo to great use, getting those headshots, and more importantly, setting up the Dragon Strike. This is now going to be hard for the defending side to try to move forward. Already they are split together, but Woe taking a good amount of damage. They have to use that Bongo just to try to make it even, but the Dragons, they're putting a good amount of damage into SCL. Still though, being able to just barely survive until Stone comes out, using that strike just to be able to take Woe. The window is going to be blinking. There's nobody really contesting the point, so the Baptiste has to put the resources in the jump. Now the mine's dropping onto the Orisa, being a little bit more careful. You're close to dying, and it just seems it's not enough. I don't know what's different about this compared to Rialto, but Shikigami have put a step up inside their playstyle, and they're going to be able to capture the second point.
I think it's this consistent damage coming out from Stone's Hanzo. It's breaking the shields. Once Stone got up on the high ground while everyone was stuck on point, he wasn't even moving. He was just standing on the high ground, pumping in the damage. And now we see a little bit of a shift coming out from NU. Neats is going to go over to the Sombra. They actually switch out their comp entirely as Sklee goes over to the Wrecking Ball as well. And we'll see what comes out of this. Now, Cadmade's on the Orisa. I thought the teams have swapped compositions pretty much.
Yeah.
Am I looking at the right teams?
Yeah, it's interesting though that they're bullying the Sig and Brig in one small room. They completely body blocked and used the Transcendence to enable them to just keep doing it. And now, Shikigami with this immediate comp switch is almost as if they've been playing it throughout the entire map, using it to great success, and have already set themselves up to continue through this phase.
Yeah, it's almost like both teams wanted to opt into the mirror match at the exact same time. Still, Neats has found that Sombra for a little bit now, so he will have the EMP ready to break this double shield composition. But Sklee already down. If you use it, you use it.
But the EMP is there, but with no follow-up, mi amor, you need more. As we see that pulse bomb hit the wall, hitting a bit of the London Spitfire. Woe is going to be able to contest this point and wait for the team as the Wrecking Ball wants to put pressure into Wicca, but they're able to slowly start to escape, though without their Orisa. They're just waiting. They're trying to stay alive as much as possible, yet finding out these trades. This window now forcing the side of Hirsch just to try to move back out. CSL does have the mines when feeling pressured. They want to use that Gravitic Flux, combine it down so anyone going in is stuck inside this minefield and immediately being pressured out. What a good way to stop what could have been defined as a snowball.
Yeah, but again, you commit the trance to it, which I'm not sure was strictly necessary. You're definitely going to be wanting that one back. Shikigami back to the drawing board as Stone goes over to the Torb now. They are coming out on quite a few ults. It's only going to be stopped by Timid's rally, which is very impactful, but the fight's going down the small room on the side.
It's not that serious to where you need to be running out the Torb. They're angry. They want to stop that Sombra from hacking and the rest of the team from walking inside them. Look how early this is, and the Transcendence needed to be used solely to keep the team up while they try to engage through this fight. They're stuck inside this small room, and Hirsch is already struggling, but they've set themselves up for disaster. As the EMP was set, it landed, and it immediately shuts them down.
Yeah, Neats building that one up pretty quickly. Honestly, I don't think Shikigami were expecting to get EMP'd quite that quickly. And it's great turnaround from NU, going from this double shield bunker composition to really just bringing the aggression on this Ball's End comp, just taking the fight in that tiny room, pretty much in the enemy spawn. It's a very quick swap in playstyle to match your composition. I like it, and it's bleeding time off the clock for Shikigami.
We're seeing that Bungo be used, though mostly used just to wall them off. CSL takes a lot of damage, and it's just going to be figured. It's absolutely devastating. Though this Gravitic Flux is there to try to even things out, helps to find out too. So now Shikigami struggling just to be able to move forward. Even their own Brig is having issues with their shield to just stay up. That Pulse Bomb caught in the small room finds out too. Once again, they have to start switching things up. We're already seeing Stone go on to the Genji, just hoping to make some type of change to figure out to stop what they're doing.
Yeah, and this is where you'll have to come up with something. Stone will have that hero performance if you're swapping over to the Genji at the last minute here. But this is Final Fight user intel. Shikigami, they were doing so well, but they've been stalled out. This is their last chance to get something going.
Yep. Defensively, they're now using the Transcendence. That doesn't save you from a high noon. Don't have the ego. Luckily, they are saved by Hirsch's shield. And now they take out Abyss, whose own window is too far back to get too much room on. They are playing aggressive. They are playing forward. Timid may be traded out, but Catmad wants to try to make this in the favor. But it is just not enough. The EMP even landing solely on the Genji as a bullying sign saying, no matter what, you will not build up that blade. It is over for the side of Shikigami, as they're not going to be able to capture all 3 points, but definitely an improvement compared to what they did onto Rialto.
Yeah, absolutely. This game's been weird, user. It's very bizarre to me, like how these teams are making their swaps. It just seems like Orisa just cannot win on Blizzard World as NU stick with that bunker composition for the first 2 points, and they just kind of get rolled over, quite frankly. But as soon as they swap over to the ball composition and Shikigami swaps off it over to the Orisa, and Shikigami can't get anywhere. They were rolling forward, they were doing great, and then suddenly they get stalled out. So it does really seem like, I mean, Ball's probably the meta tank at the moment, but he's pretty good, and it looks like both teams have realized this. I know that NU haven't come out of spawn just yet, but with what we're seeing right now, it does seem like Ball Zen is the way to go. Both teams have decided.
Yeah. Although, I kind of want to point out a bit of stats. They've been on the screen for the viewers to notice, but I don't think we've truly put enough attention onto it. And I kind of just want to point out that Stone has consistently gotten the most final blows on their team while having an even spread of deaths. And I find it interesting that both of these teams have very close to kind of percentage on basically everything. It's kind of the even fight that you want, and yet we're seeing NU pull out more damage consistently when it comes to their own team, and a tiny bit more healing, and maybe that's just the credit of the team and how they're working, but it's definitely something impressive to point out.
Absolutely. It might just be part of playing that bunker comp for so long. Will get you maybe some increased damage, increased heals. We're going to see the engage come out, and that is a clean one. The Ball's End just tearing apart the back line, and they move forward to clean up what they can, and that's back to the drawing board for NU. Nothing you can do about that one.
That poor Sombra Stone wanted to try to touch the point as much as possible to try to stop them from capturing it, but now they're just kind of rotating around. They do give up the high ground, nothing bad about it. They are just basically going to give them space to freely move through, but Stone now has enough room to find you out, as well as Abyss, who is just able to start clipping heads, and they one clip scoop. It's incredibly rude, as now the rest of NU, they are struggling to stay up inside their own corridor, though they are able to kind of stun out the Tracer and put some good damage into Catmaid. They haven't stopped this fight. Respawns are not in their favor when it comes to this push.
Yeah, Sensuct has fallen a couple of times now, and it looks like NU are pushing their advantage here, but he'll still be back quickly. They need to find something here soon. They're pushing in on the Diva, but Squeeze hacked.
Yeah, Abyss able to find out Timid, though SBT's max very low. They managed not only to get the hack, but they shut it down, and with Catmaid gone, the tank line is non-existent. This is now their chance to move forward and feel alive. Sure, they lose out Scoop, and Stone finds Hirsch, but they still are having the advantage now, even placing the mine stuck inside this small spot. It's not really going to get much room, but at least it forces out the Transcendence because they put a lot of pressure in. Now they're just having fun popping them out.
Yeah, just tearing through these mines, and it's another pretty solid hold, but ults are starting to come online, and again, I'm looking solely at these two EMPs from Stone and Neat. Stone a little bit quicker on them, and he goes straight for the, he goes straight for the Zen.
Oh, perfect. It's a correct. Zen not only has 50 HP, and now he has 0. Timon may be alive for a little bit longer, but this is still such an early and good push. They even stop before that first tick gets captured. That's incredibly smart, but incredibly rude.
Yeah, and, you know, we talk a lot about big EMPs, but in this composition, all you need is to find the Zen. The teams are all over the place, they're distributed. If you can just get that one pick, it should be a massive advantage. This comp is called Ball Zen. Zen is a very large part. As well, yeah. And as Catmaid falls, this is a great opportunity for NU to take this one.
Yeah, they have that EMP. That's definitely what they're looking for to be able to try and take this fight against this Gravitic Flux, though. Slamming down, it seemed to miss out. This is where the EMP wants to try to make a difference. We do see Wicca just not going to be able to have much. That Pulse Bomb missing out the bomb, wanting to make some form of difference, but it really only finds out Hirsch. The mines are going to be giving them more space because the Wrecking Ball walks into it. It is now dangerously in a scary moment. Catmaid being hacked, though, basically guarantees your own death. Wrecking Ball is nothing when it comes to just losing out your own mobility. I don't think they truly want to try and contest, even if Wicca is moving out further. It's more of just kind of scouting and pushing them back.
Yeah, they do end up taking that one. Cadmaid falling so early. It was just a disadvantage for Shikigami the entire time. But they burnt a lot of time off the clock. And look, Stone already up to another EMP. Neats, he's dead. He's not building anything. The EMP comes out, and it's good. But Hirsch is coming up big. He gets both the supports.
The good early fight that they're taking, basically a spawn camp if you like to ask. Catmate gonna be able to spin to win, find out Timid, though Hirsch and CSL are gonna be able to kind of stay alive, help try to poke people out. It just seems that Shikigami really just want to take that aggressive push, maybe build up to those mines that they finally just got in the rest of their ultimates, but they waste down the time bank, and I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, but the push would have worked if Hirsch didn't get 3 kills in a D-Mech. The off-tank for NU coming up big and denying an EMP fight from Shikigami. So back to the drawing board once again for Shikigami. They still have superior ultimates right now, but they're facing down 2 support ults, and the rally's coming down.
They have to use the rally and the Transcendence in fear, but that pulse bomb's gonna stop the rally. Disrespectful. Alright, they just popped it. Now Neats is coming very close to their own EMP, fighting off against CSL, who is on the high ground, hacked, and then eventually pressured out. They're having a lot of troubles. There's no room for them to engage without immediately just being poked or hit with ultimates, and this is really good for first engagement. Now with this big split, I wonder how NU are going to try and take this first engagement.
It's the EMP versus the Transcendence here. Abyss will have to get the trance off before Neats hits him with the EMP. Stone gets stunned, and his Translocator gets destroyed at the exact same time. He's taken out. The ult battle might not even come down here, user.
It really doesn't. This payload is so close that they don't even get an opportunity to try to stall it. The D.Va can do as much as they want, but in the end, it's going to be up to 2 minutes and 30 seconds worth of a hold to try to get halfway through, though it's not going to be in their favor. Shikigami have a very much big hill to battle against 3 ultimates.
Yeah, and that's so good for NU to pick out Stone and Cadmaid like that without using their EMP. They have a massive advantage coming into this next fight. All eyes are on the support line for Shikigami, Wicca, and Abyss. One of them have to pop their ultimates, but the rally comes out early.
Well, oh no, the EMP! The EMP stops the break from being able to use the shield. Hirsch manages to get the 2K off of it, which is absolutely phenomenal. Now, as they slowly start to get more picks, the bomb is set, but they don't really have room to use it, nor the EMP. They just have to reset and try again.
Yeah, it's a lot of commitment for NU, but they have the time for it still. If you're a Shikigami fan, don't fret. The ults are solidly in your favor. Stone has the EMP. They can come back here. It's looking likely, but Sklee wants to put down these mines pretty close. Shikigami have to force the fight eventually.
And it seems they want to try and take it now. Try to dive onto Scoop, but Scoop safely onto the high ground, feeling fine. Transcendents are going up against each other, but Shikigami have the pure advantage solely because 3 people have already gone down on the side of NU. Now they're trying to run like little scared cats, but honestly, there's nothing they can do besides from Scoop being able to kill the Tracer.
And Stone holds on to the EMP. Great play from Abyss to use the trance when you know Neats doesn't have his own. You know you're safe to use that ultimate. You know the EMP is not coming out. Now Stone gets to hold on to his, and things are looking dicey now for NU. Assuming you're going to lose the next fight to the EMP, you maybe only have one more good shot to actually get this one over the line.
And it's going to be a big hail. These mines placed down in the EMP. Though many cannot follow up on it, it does help to take out Scoop. And, well, an attempt to a pulse bomb, though it does manage to find out, well, the rest of the team aren't going to be able to move in. They have 30 seconds on the clock. Needs is coming up on this EMP. That is the ult-winning ability. But these staggers, they're hurting the side of Shikigami. Wicca falls into the mines. That bomb goes down, breaks the majority, but there's still a few left as Hirsch is being able to play, give them some space. They are still taking this fight with the rally now from Timid. Absolutely beautiful. Going to be able to give them a bit more room just to play like angry cats. Pulse bomb's going to be able to hit Abyss. No Transcendence for you at the point. That's incredibly close. That EMP is set, and it is a game-defining opportunity as the rest of Shikigami aren't going to be able to do anything. And give some love because NU, they're going to be taking the lead in this series, and more importantly, they're going to be taking Blizzard World.
Yeah, NU comes out strong on Shikigami's map pick. It was looking rough there. Both teams seeming more and more evenly matched. You know, Lijiang very heavily in favor of Shikigami, Rialto the other way around. But here on Blizzard World, both teams absolutely giving their all, especially on these Balls End comps. They've decided that these are the compositions they want to run, and they both teams look good. This is probably the hardest composition to run the game. It requires a lot of coordination, and both teams, they're pouncing on mistakes from each other. They're forcing these mistakes. They're going in and incredibly hard to try and figure out where the best place to strike is, and they go for it. So I really enjoy seeing the Balls End compositions come out, especially when these teams are so evenly matched here. But still, 2-1 up to the rookies here, the NU, the University Collegiate team, which we really came into this not knowing too much about, but they're putting up their dukes and they're going toe-to-toe with Shikigami here.
Man, I gotta say, this is interesting. Collegiate teams have definitely started to step their game up. I think we more people in hindsight, when we were just given the names of these teams and the rosters, and we got to sit there and say, well, Shikigami, they've done A, B, and C. We know them deeply within the Overwatch community. They've looked great, and I think a lot of people, when they think of a collegiate team, they think of Redbird, because Redbird by far is one of the best. Some people would debatably say they are a tier 1 team, though I wouldn't. And I think that's caused us to look down on some of these collegiates, and they have continuously shown within this tourney that they are ready to make a name for themselves, and then when Contenders starts back up, hopefully, eventually, they are ready to try and take that title. That's what I'm thinking. They're definitely ready to take that title. The competition, no matter how long this game comes and the less content we get, somehow these players are still managing to adapt and improve along the way, and I've got to say, that's absolutely impressive, especially because only one person can be the MVP that you should technically vote down in the summary, because some of these players have been absolutely insane, and like Hirsch, who's just consistently staying alive. Timid and Neat built so many EMPs, basically saved everything, and while Nepal may be banned, at least they have other choices.
Yeah, we are going to see Nepal banned from NU, and Timid's a good shout. I really do think Timid's been playing very, very well on that main support role. Supports don't really get as much love as they probably should, but there are a number of MVP candidates. Stone on Shikigami has been playing really, really well. Hirsch as well from NU. Really, just go down to that MVP poll, think a little bit, and decide who you want, because user, we might be on our last map here. NU up 2-1. They just need one more, and they will be moving forward in the winners bracket. Shikigami, unfortunately, falling down to losers. Nobody going out yet. It is the initial match. We're still in the winners bracket so far. So even if you lose, you have the chance to run it back. But it's funny to me, user, that a lot of times, and at least in previous Overwatch All-Star Brawls, the first few maps are rolls. They're stomps. Like one team will prove that they're far better than the other, and you won't really see these competitive matches till later in the bracket. So far, after a 5-map game that you just came off of, and now we're going to 2-1 on NU versus Shikigami, it seems like the teams are more and more evenly matched, which really it shows that we might have an exciting tournament coming up through November. It's only the second.
Mike, I definitely agree with you. I think it's mostly because OWL teams are picking up people from Collegiate and Contenders, so there's a lot of room to show your improvement. I definitely see.
And it gives these teams that fire too. It suddenly gives them there's a chance. You know, we can make it to OWL.
Hey, we're not dead yet, but now this is possibly the last map. Watch Point Gibraltar. Shikigami down 1 map. All they need to do is just, in the words of my coach back when I used to be in gold, play better than your opponents. But I
hope you didn't pay him.
I did not. Axel Paxel was a weird man. Either way, when it comes to Watch Point Gibraltar, I think we both can kind of commit that it's very much a dive-heavy map. Dive, double bubble, anything that has legs and can jump itself across a mile is going to be played here. But I don't feel that this will be too fundamental as we're used to. I feel something may go wrong for one of these teams.
Yeah, I'm curious if both teams will once again commit to the ball's end compositions. Like you said, it's a good map for that dive. So we'll see if they want to go with potentially, Ball Diva to get in good positions. But I generally prefer Winston on Gibraltar. I think it's just the architecture of the map's a little bit better for those arcing leaps than Ball's kind of roundabout ways of getting to the high ground. But we'll see exactly what the teams want to break out on. And it looks like we are going to see the Ball's End coming out from NU. They're comfortable on this composition, and they're on defense, so they actually get to start on the high ground. I think that's a major advantage to them because, when you have the Brig, when you have the Zenyatta, you really need that strong positioning if you're going to get full advantage out of those heroes.
I was a little scared they were really walking out with the Bastion for a second, but the almost with that kind of bunker comp got a little scared. Definitely unconventional, but they are just going to say nope. Shikigami don't really care. They're just going to walk out onto the pure dive comp. And I don't know how this format's going to do well against the Wrecking Ball composition. Though this anti is very nice, hitting out CSL, stopping them from being able to push forward and give full control to the high ground bridge on the side of Shikigami. They're just going to be counter diving as they move in, wanting to be able to take out Timid, and they do succeed. Now with this close to DMEC hitting Hirsch, these antis have been absolutely phenomenal as they put pressure out and win this fight solely because there is just nothing they can do. You can't live if you can't get healed.
Yeah, it's a clean win coming out from Shikigami, and I was a little worried when they come out on maybe the classic dive composition, largely because it's hard for Catmade to get into position. He doesn't have the bubble to save him from Brig's CC abilities. That's the real reason double bubble is usually run, is to protect the Winston on that dive. The Diva can't eat up the CC, so let's see if Timid is able to get into position to keep Catmade from getting those clean dives for the rest of the game.
Yep, they still have room to be able to touch this point, and CL looks to be wanting to go after the support line, who just get barely peeled out by their own monkey. Rarely to see that, but I love to see that peel go in as they're getting set to take this frontline fight. The support being on the high ground is going to be a bigger issue for their own team, as Hirsch has to put the resources to try to peel in, but the hack is able to take out SBT to slow them down, but the Transcendence, look at that, keeping them up. They may have room to be able to bring it back, especially with this Discord hitting out Catmade, forcing the Primal Rage. These boops going in, they're looking to move them around, and he's being able to slightly escape, give time for their own Wrecking Ball to return. Now the bomb going out, wants to be able to take the Brig, but the Brig's able to live. Not the rest of the team. Finds out SPT, and they slowly start getting these picks. Now with this bomb being thrown, they truly just want to win this fight. They want to capture it at any type of scenario, but as long as NU continue to contest this point, they don't have anything to worry about, and that's a nice hold. You force out a lot of big ultimates there.
Yeah, and you really managed to steal that out from under Shikigami. That seemed like Shikigami just kind of fell apart on their target focus, because I'm not sure exactly how they lost that one after being up so many members in the first place. Now Shikigami, you're feeling the pressure. You have a minute and a half. You need to win this map. And Stone, he turns that pressure into performance as he gets the pick on the Woe.
Oh, that's absolutely phenomenal. Though Woe's gonna be able to come back. The mines are stopping anyone from escaping this place. I feel like Crash Bandicoot just hitting the Woe, Though they do manage to find out Catmade, meaning there is no quick dive. Cassidy now being pressured out. They just got a name change. Come on, man. You don't gotta do it to them. Though the Tracer wanting to try to push this as much as possible. They have no room. Shikigami, once again, now struggling to find any room to be able to play this game. And you have just been changing their style so often. There is nothing to adapt against. Pulse Bomb may not have been eaten, but it's not going to be able to kill Wicca as it was just stuck to the shield. It's going to be able to just barely survive. Now they move forward with this Nano, trying to be able to take out Tim and put that pressure in. Scoop is going to be able to live for a little bit longer as the rest of the team are slowly going to move in with that rally. And the bomb goes out high, solely to put pressure onto the Brig, and Wicked's going to be going out as the tank ladder just forward onto the point, and this bomb maybe just wanting to try to force them gone. Timid is picked up, the last person being Scoop, but SPT gets clipped, not going to be able to live. Now less than 30 seconds on the clock. The rest of Shikigami, they need to make some plays. They do find out well with 3 people on the point and 2 coming back. They are now struggling, though the DMEC onto Hirsch is going to be able to help out with Neats being alive. It's only going to be a further issue because the hack stops the high noon from being able to be used. And now, what do you do other than just jump on this point and try to make magic happen? They immediately get booped off. Catmade does have this Primal Rage, going to be using it, and they get off the point for a second! You had this in the bag!
Oh no, user! This was I was ready to call it. I was prepping, my wrap up speech. How did NU hold first point for so long? Ouch. They have an EMP. That's cool. Maybe they can get something done. That one's gonna.
So upset.
That's gonna haunt your dreams.
Yeah, at least this fight's continuing to pick back up as the rest of NU are looking for any type of stagger picks. Catmade is able to find out whoa, and they use Wicca's rally as more than enough reason just to start walking into you. Though the support line are able to live for a tiny bit longer, they make the right decision and let themselves die because Neats is sitting there at the back of the point and they don't really wait, they didn't know!
Yeah, he's just sitting there, stalling out, keeping that card from moving. And, the best part about a C9 is that it's normally an overtime. So they have burned out a lot of that time on the clock. They do have an opportunity to stall out Shikigami right here, but, they should have stopped him on point A, quite frankly. But Shikigami continues to push forward, try and get whatever they are granted out of this. And a pick on the Woe, they might start running with this.
I definitely agree. That's gonna be really good. Though the Transcendence enables Hirsch. If only the Wrecking Ball was able to reach it fast enough. Now the Scoop is put into a bad position. Does take out Stone in the end. So at least you're being able to say that you did that. Staggers are now coming to commit in. Shikigami have the full advantage, even using this high noon to set up. Look for anybody out. The EMP bomb gonna be able to catch 2 out. No, just 1. The Monkey gonna be able to just quickly disengage and hide. They are looking to just regroup as only 4 people are gonna be there. And yet, Catmade never wants to be able to give up this fight. Fighting the Brig head to head. You're no Reinhardt. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to do this. So SBT is gonna throw that bomb, try to make the difference while the mine splits you up for being able to touch your own payload. The rest of them are now regrouping back as a team as Catmade's hacks are Catmade being hacked is just not allowing them to be able to move in. A lot of these resources are going in just to keep him up, and they are still struggling. The Nano goes out, but they lose out their own Cassidy, and the rest of the team just struggling to go up against the Wrecking Ball, so the Monkey has to basically use all the resources to go back. And Abyss being boomed out, just as you said, Catmade being figured out. Woe just absolutely managing to hit it out, though this rally from Wicca comes out clutch just to be able to keep a bit more sustained onto the Tracer, so it's a bit a harder time just to try to figure it out. It is not enough when it comes to this fight, and this is where you see Shikigami, the Death God, truly putting an end to their own casket. As we're gonna see if NU can truly end it here, or will Shikigami be able to hold?
And I want to point out a very crucial part of this matchup. I think, user, is you look at Shikigami's composition, right? They're playing Winston, they're playing Diva, they're playing Tracer, they're playing the more classic dive, right? My main question is, and I think we saw it time and time again, who is going to break through with the rally? Like, who is going to do any damage through armor? You're running the Ana instead of the Zen. You don't have that extra buff through the Discord. And I think we saw it multiple times that Timid was able to just pop the rally, and Shikigami had to back off. They couldn't get kills. They couldn't break through. They couldn't do any damage. They lost their positioning. They're playing this classic dive style, but it really, Brig is the dive killer for a reason. It's so hard to actually get the damage done through that consistent armor pumping out. And now NU have a clear win condition. They don't have that far to go to manage to take this one and knock Shikigami down to the losers bracket.
Yeah, but there's a lot happening here, especially when it comes to these stats. Shikigami's own support line are dying less often, but their DPS are dying more often, and I think that's what matters kind of a lot in dive, because, well, their DPS aren't able to follow up on much. So now they walk out with this Wrecking Ball. They feel comfortable with it, and I've got to say, SCL MVP candidates looking very good with it. Though Hirsch takes a lot of damage on top of this high ground, they're not really going to worry about too much because CL is just going behind saying, hoo, and then leaving immediately. What was that noise? Oh my goodness. Leaving immediately. This is more
as long as you're aware of it, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah, don't worry. They're immediately going into this dive. I think you have to worry more of the fact that they are caught out. Catmade, in a dangerous scenario, has to use the resource just to try and escape. But this payload is being freely moved without a care in the world. They're having more issues on the side of Shikigami to find out the support line. And now with them wanting to just stick onto the high ground and wait for someone to kind of peek and then they drop on. It's a lot more reactive play style. Eventually they do manage to finish off Hirsch, so at least there's no diva to worry about, and there's 2 people stuck inside them like a health pack room. You're still basically playing on the high ground, letting them push the payload for free while you wait for a weakness to show.
Yeah, and so far, so good for Shikigami, but the cart has made a lot of that progress, like you were saying, and now the dive's coming in as well from NU, but doesn't look like they're able to find what they want. But Woe falls as Shikigami gets that pick.
It's a really nice pick too. That payload's in a very nice spot to be able to move, but without a team, how are you going to be able to move it? They're also placing this pulse bomb down to help take out CSL, causing this stagger, especially with Timid getting antied and then picked off. They're now split. Their respawns are no longer synced, and with Hirsch being stuck inside the enemy's backline, I don't believe that Hirsch is going to be able to escape, and this is just getting worse and worse, because now Woe is picked off again. They've got a D-Mech, and a lot of this time is being wasted down the clock. You need as many seconds as possible, because they're just going to walk down in you. They have the visor. They pick off Hirsch. Sure, the hack is going to be able to hit Catmaid, but you don't really have a team to be able to kind of move in on it.
Yeah, and I believe Shikigami's been doing a very, very good job of just avoiding Timid. They're focusing more on counter dives onto the ball, onto the tracer, and they're just letting Sensucked on the soldier, put in that consistent damage on the backline. Timid's, it's almost 2.5 minutes in. Timid's not even close to that rally, just barely building it up now.
Yep, they try to use that visor, but it immediately gets one clip to Woe, bringing out this talent, the mind, splitting them from touching the point, and they are shutting down the entirety of Shikigami. I mean, the Transcendence is used due to a little bit of anxiety coming out on the side of Scoop, but at least they get a free capture onto this point, because nobody's gonna have that respawn. This is now the most dangerous area. They have to stop them if they want a chance, but Needs has the EMP.
Yeah, all of a sudden, you know, things were looking rough for NU, but a single fight turns it around, and they're now looking like the favorites to get away with Gibraltar here. The point is still moving forward. It's not even towards the end of point B. Scoop gets 2 big kills on the support line, and now it's Shikigami jumping on the point. They're just trying to stall it out. They know this fight's over.
They're just looking to respawn more than anything. The mini Jonak Scoop is scooping you up.
But Neek still has EMP. He still has it.
That's the worrying part. These players are so good at conserving their ultimates. Though it's interesting that the Tracer finds out Needs, forces them to retreat. This is still set up. One fight territory. They need to make something happen. They managed to find out Scoop fighting inside the small house, and with Timid gone, I don't think they really want to invest this EMP. Look at that, already looking to just retreat and try again. They still have 2 minutes to try and make anything happen. No sweat. It's still a last fight scenario, though.
Yeah, but this does give Shikigami a little room to breathe and potentially build up to some of those ultimates. I'm looking at that Nano Visor potentially coming out, or even just the safer Nano Monkey. Just to continue punishing the backline of NU and bleed that time off the clock, potentially even to win a fight as the EMP comes out. If you're able to kill the supports, probably won't matter as much. So these ults get to be built up for Shikigami, but they're still on the back foot here. One good EMP spells their doom.
Yep, they're already playing really far forward. That Pulse Bomb is going to land on Catmaid, but the Primal Rage saves them up. They want to try and take out Scoop, but the Transcendence is finally built. It is trying to counter against the Visor, which is not going to be an issue, especially with the fact that it's really nanoed in the end. They still are split, but in the end, Scoop was the main target that they were focusing on. Now, with the rest of Shikigami feeling a bit more confident, they're going to be able to push forward. They don't have an opportunity to really use this EMP. They're more using it to let Stone kind of move around. They're not shutting anything down, and now Shikigami, they're basically feeling fine. Once again, the mines were used, but the EMP still held.
Now Wicca is building up to that rally, which will persist through the EMP, and now I'm worried, user. I was talking, NU might be using their ults, they might panic use their ults and use too many. Now they might be scared of whiffing the EMP, and Neats is almost scared to use it now, unless he knows he can get a big one out of it. So Shikigami might be back in this. There's only a minute left.
They have to make something happen. That bomb goes into the room, and especially with that stun, it's an immediate DMAC. They push this payload, but look at that, Shikigami. They have people to freely contest. There's nothing worrying. Now it's less than a minute, and they are already at a major disadvantage with this fight. They're building up their ultimates, more of a dry fight. Now using this rally to counteract each other. They're still saving it, hoping that a 6-man is possible, but with this pulse spam landing kind of in between them, it's more of a confusion. Though they set it up, EMP bomb there, and fucking great.
There it is.
Exactly what they needed. Their patience has worked out. The visor finds it needs, but the pulse bomb lands onto the mech and it shuts it down. They even have to nano out the baby diva just to make anything happen. But Shikigami, there is no god besides a university, as they immediately run back onto the point saying, no, please, I have a family and children. The monkey wants to do as much as they can, but they're discorded. They are struggling. And Scoop still has a transcendence, because we are not going to be seeing Shikigami continue in the series. They're going to be falling down to the bracket as NU. They're going to be moving forward in the series.
Yeah, Northeastern University truly coming out of nowhere, and after a rocky first start on Lijiang, they managed to take it back and really use this ball Zen composition to their advantage. You know, I was criticizing Neats. I was like, if you had used your EMP in the first fight, you would have built up another one by now. I thought he was scared. I thought he was gonna waste it away. But no, he was playing patient. He is the patient hunter, waiting for that bomb from Hirsch and really just using the EMP exactly where it was needed. So great play from everyone on NU. But that was an exciting match. And now, last chance, get your MVP votes in, because we're about to find out who it's going to be and bring them into the booth with us.
My goodness, very talented players on the side of NU. Defeating Shikigami is no easy task. They are still considered a really good team, and I think they showed a lot of strengths here, but more than anything, they have a lot to work on if they wanted to be able to be a team like Northeastern University in the future. Though, landing down into the lower brackets basically means that they're going to be able to say hi to their friends Regen again. So, you know, it's almost a bit of a storyline going in.
Poetry.
With X tier 2 teams kind of moving in and kind of slowing down. But I gotta be real. Who do you feel like is going to kind of get that MVP title? Because I definitely feel like Catman was a shining point continuously through the game. But more than anything, I really want to talk to Timid. Timid was such a good support line. I mean, yes, dying a lot is an issue comparably to Shikigami, who were, more than anything, living and doing their job. But still, Timid was getting a lot of value on that Zenyatta.
Yeah, Timid did a great job, but I'm really looking at Hirsch. You know, I mean, obviously the big flashy Diva Bomb at the end, but I think Hirsch just played consistently very, very well on that off tank, saving some fights for the collegiate team. So really, any of these players, I'm very interested in talking to them. So we are going to get the MVP set up very quickly. But man, what a statement coming out from Northeastern University.
I've got to say, definitely.
Yeah. I believe their next match will be going up against Gaia, which is a scary team user. Gaia being the runner-up in the last Overwatch All-Star Brawl in September. And I believe the runner-up in the Will English tournament just a couple weeks ago as well. Gaia, very scary. My personal favorite to win the tournament, but also a team that really likes the ball Zen composition. So, you know, if Northeastern University, if they want to be like, hey, we're the best ball Zen team in this tournament right now, you got to get through Gaia.
Now, mind you, Gaia, when they played in the Will Invitational, only lost to a team like Redbird, which I think we could both say is pretty understandable. So going up against a team like Gaia, who have continuously been good and shown to shine bright, it is amazing to see how well they've been doing so far as they kind of go into the series. And I'm hoping to see that when they take them on, they prove us wrong. I love to see upsets. There's nothing more than an Overwatch caster loves than a storyline. And the storyline here today was just, well, we don't really know you. How are you going to do up against this team? And then they say, well, just watch. And we watched, and it was an amazing series.
Yeah, and again, you know, I think some of this was still nerves. There were definitely some places where I'm like, Northeastern University are they're stacking ultimates. They're using a bit more than they might need, and it's rough, But at the end of the day, Northeastern University just coming out very, very strong, despite maybe some little mistakes. And if you clean up some of those, this could be a very, very strong team. Now, I do believe we have our MVP is going to be Catmade. Catmade, how are you doing?
I'm okay. A bit shocked after that loss, but happens. How are you?
I gotta say, we're doing absolutely great. We still think that you guys had a phenomenal match as you went through. So I want to get your perspective going into this match. You guys definitely, I guess, had a lot of expectations going in because people are always watching your team. I feel like. So how did it feel coming back in here and especially against your last record? What was your expectations / feelings?
I don't know. I feel like we were kind of expected to win, but due to some bad team fight plans just didn't happen. But hopefully we can make a decent comeback against other teams, and hopefully after this loss people don't think of us too poorly.
I certainly don't think anyone would think that. There are a lot of really good performances coming out from the team as a whole, and I'm still pretty high on you guys. I think you will have quite the run in the losers bracket. So I want to ask, you come into your first game, you come in as the favorites, and unfortunately you end up losing. I know it's tough right after the game, but is that almost motivation for you moving forward? Do you really think you're going to do like a shock style run through the losers bracket to the finals?
I'm not entirely sure. It is possible, but some people would probably feel more down about it. Some people might use it as motivation. Some people might just go grind rank and try and improve however they can. It's just, we will try our best to make a losers bracket run and hopefully not finish last.
Well, I fully believe in you guys. I'm still very much a Shikigami fan, but I don't really have any more questions. What about you, Mr. Spooky?
Yeah, honestly, I know it is rough to lose, but the team overall, they looked pretty strong. You definitely have a solid foundation, and I'm expecting great things from Shikigami through the losers bracket. So thank you so much for coming to talk with us, and thank your entire team for us for a solid match.
Wait, don't go. Do you have any shoutouts and loves to give out?
Shout out to Sklee. He's kind of the homie. 4600 may thank God. Need to learn from him some more. And shout out to my team, and especially Stone. Stone played good all the way through. It's just, I made too many mistakes and bad plans, and that's kind of why we lost. And thank you for having me.
Hey, we were so thankful to have you, so you're free to go.
Yeah, absolutely love the sportsmanship, and you will come back stronger, I'm sure of it. But thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you again. Have a good night.
Oh man, my good man. We had such a phenomenal match when it came down to Shikigami versus NU, and while it hurt me to say that they had to lose, at least this will build up character, especially for the future.
Build up character for Shikigami, but maybe build up some confidence for Northeastern University as well. Moving forward, I think both of these teams have solidified themselves as teams to watch, but I think a lot of teams have so far through Overwatch All-Star Brawl, through just these 2 days of tournament matches. So it only goes up from here, and this is a pretty banging start to the tournament, user.
I definitely have to agree. So, the folks that are listening in, we want to thank you so much for tuning in to Star Sports Live or All Stars Brawl. It was definitely a pleasure being one of your broadcasters. If you're interested to kind of tune in to more of who me and Spooky are, our Twitters are on the screen, or just to kind of shout out Spooky. Spooky, what's your Twitter?
It's Spooky Casts. I think it's right there on the bottom. So, yeah, come give me a follow. I tweet when I cast. That's about it. Yeah, maybe I'll tweet something else. You never know.
Maybe it'll be a threatening cat picture. And I'm username underscore Intel. Everything's the same. I also tweet out when I cast these matches. But more than anything, if you want to support Star Esports and everything that's been happening, make sure you can hit that little sub button. I know it's 20% off, so that means that you get a little bit more benefit, and it basically goes back into the prize pool and paying people around here. It's absolutely great, especially if you hit that little heart, which is a follow, and then the little bell, which is the notification. You can follow the Twitter, which will keep you up to date with clips, memes, everybody around Star Esports, and really, that's just all it is. Either way, we want to thank you once again, coming from the casting booth, and Refuse, your own producer, who's been hard carrying this entirety of the league that he runs. So either way, we want to thank you at Star Esports, and we'll see you next time.